A gigantic, red-colored cloud burst forth in the vastness of space, unfolding to a distance of thousands of miles. At its center was one mysterious traveler, 3 Atlas, the celestial object that already confounded astronomers and was soon to become even stranger. For the first time, researchers observed a phenomenon where the glow did not follow the object as it receded from the sun but seemed in front of it, directed towards the star itself. Hoping for the characteristic glowing tail of a comet, astronomers were instead gazing at something completely different, a red ghost, releasing gas at an incredible rate but displaying none of the telltale signs of a routine comet. This photo didn't just contribute a new piece to the puzzle, it turned the entire board over. What they saw was called the red anomaly. When scientists took their latest photo of 3 Atlas, the product looked like something out of a cosmological nightmare. Forgotten were the soft glow of a comet's tail or the brilliant white halo one would anticipate. Instead, the body was shrouded in a hideous, blood-red coma, a huge, queasy cloud of gas and dust so opaque that the nucleus at its center was barely discernible. This was no subtle hue difference, it was a chilling scarlet radiance such as anything astronomers had ever witnessed on this scale. The coma was also staggering in size, over 90,000 kilometers wide. For perspective, more than 10 Earths could easily fit inside this spectral halo. But what actually unsettled scientists was not merely its size or hue, but what the cloud was composed of. Spectroscopic analysis, in effect a chemical signature of light, showed an astounding composition. Rather than the usual mixture of water ice, dust, and frozen gases found in comets, the cloud was comprised almost entirely of carbon dioxide. Worse, it was releasing this gas at an astounding rate, some 70 kilograms, or approximately 150 pounds, per second. That's the same as an immense factory smokestack pumping carbon dioxide into space continuously. With material flowing off it so fast, 3 Atlas ought to have been one of the most luminous objects in the sky at night. It should have left behind a magnificent tail hundreds of millions of miles long as the solar wind swept the gas out. But nothing, not even a whiff, was visible. It was as if an immense fire had burned out without leaving even a single wisp of smoke. This one fact destroyed all existing comet models. Comets normally brighten up due to sunlight heating their ice surfaces, leading to sublimation, ice being converted directly into gas. This is what builds both the coma and the tail. 3 Atlas appeared to obey only half of this blueprint. It expelled gas with a furious intensity, but the gas failed to flow into a tail. It stuck around the nucleus instead, and a sickening red cloud formed. It resembled seeing a cosmic magic show done without the magician. The magnitude of the effect was nearly unimaginable, making scientists nervous about what it said about other, as yet unfound interstellar objects. The peculiarity didn't stop there. Deep in the object's center, the nucleus itself did not live up to expectations. For months, its thinness suggested to astronomers that it was comparatively small, maybe only a few miles wide. But as additional information filtered in from NASA's SPHEREX telescope, the figures painted a very different picture. New estimates put the nucleus at a maximum of 46 kilometers in width, approximately 28 miles, bigger than many cities. That's no space rock. That's a small planet. A body that size, thought to be made of frozen carbon dioxide and other volatiles, ought to have burned bright as a lantern while passing close to the sun. It didn't, though. It remained abnormally dark, shrouded in its unsettling, blood-colored mist. The paradoxes mounted fast. 3 Atlases seemed too large, too red, and much too odd to be written off as just a regular comet. What astronomers possessed was an image that defied explanation and a mounting list of impossible contradictions. It was somehow hyperactive and strangely inert, disassembling the laws of cometary physics before their very eyes and challenging a reconsideration of what an interstellar visitor could actually be. Arguably the most puzzling enigma was the way it seemed to maintain itself in the process of ejecting so much mass. But even that was just the start. Initially, 3 Atlas was not considered a nightmare, it was hailed as a cosmic blessing. When it first emerged in telescopes, it generated euphoria in the scientific community. Found way beyond Saturn's orbit, the fact that it was already brightening so far away indicated that it might turn into a once-in-a-decade phenomenon. Computation of its path indicated that it would swing by the Sun, and on the strength of its initial brilliance, predictions said that it could possibly challenge the stars themselves, visible to the naked eye worldwide. It was hailed as the possible comet of the century. Expectations spread quickly. Stargazers the world over braced themselves for a stunning cosmic show. The universe had something else in store. The object's action became chaotic when it approached. Rather than continuously increasing in light, it flashed erratically, briefly blazing and then diminishing. The coma itself waxed and waned in color and shape. To comet experts, this sort of inconsistency was a harbinger of doom, indicating that the nucleus was unstable and could collapse under the stresses of sun heat and gravity. That would prove to be the case shortly. Even before the event itself started, the putative comet of the century disintegrated. Astronomers observed a single light point shattering into a number of fragments. For everyone else, the tale was finished. The show was canceled without the curtain even rising. But for a few researchers, the enigma was growing stronger. Even broken up, 3 Atlas was not acting like a comet. Instead of spreading out, the fragments remained close to one another, gliding along in a spectral procession, each with its own eerie little coma. This was extremely rare and suspicious. What happened next created even more curiosity. The chronology of the events and releasing of information got blurry. The early photographs of the breakup were examined, but complete information, particularly the shocking revelations of the huge cloud of carbon dioxide, weren't released immediately to the broader scientific community. Delays in publishing results are not uncommon, since results usually take time to be rigorously checked and verified. But in this instance, the quietness was something different, almost deliberate. Some were left wondering by a small but vocal number of scientists, what did those early readings show that took so long to verify? Was something in the data so extraordinary that it was initially disbelieved as error? That unmoving silence only contributed to the aura of mystery. When the information finally came in, along with the now famous photo of the red coma, it entirely recontextualized the story. This was not a comet that neatly broke apart. It was a deeply anomalous object that was being transformed in some kind of otherworldly way before our very eyes. What had previously been eagerly awaited as a pretty astronomy show had become a confusing and creepy cosmic enigma. 3 Atlas had never been a typical comet to begin with. It was something else entirely, masquerading as one until its spectacular passage through the solar system unveiled its real, perplexing form. The strange composition was only the beginning. The next hint was in its birthplace, the cold darkness from which it arose. And here is the greatest unknown: nobody knows precisely where it was born. One thing is sure, though, it did not come from our solar system. Its trajectory is hyperbolic, or not held by the sun's gravity. Common comets, such as Halley's, have elongated elliptical paths that always return. 3 Atlas, however, is on a one-way trip. It dropped into our cosmos from the infinite void of interstellar space and, having completed its wild and bewildering stay, will be cast back into that infinite void, never to come back.